Welcome back to Hogback Observatory in Gallup, New Mexico. This is a series of videos to demonstrate how to assemble a PureTech Telestation observatory. In this video, we're going to go over the installation of the corner braces. The purpose of the corner brace, as you'll see here and on this wall, is to add rigidity to both end walls, the back one and the door wall, because the motor that sits on each wall has a lot of torque, and when you hit the button to open the roof, those motors will torque and they will shake the wall a bit. But you can see on this wall with those braces on, there's no shake. On this wall where I haven't put the braces on yet, if you look at it, it can flex. See that shaking? Okay, so that's the purpose of these corner braces, to add rigidity to the end walls to deal with the torque of the motor. Now on mine, when they came, the button bolts and the nuts were not in the track of the wall already. And the only way you can put a nut into these tracks is if the end is open and you can put the regular flat type nut down in there and it can slide up and down in the track. If where you need them in the track is already either capped off for some reason or other hardware's in the way, you cannot put those nuts in the track and get them to where you need to fix things. So for that purpose, they include with the observatory, and they put a bunch of extra in some bags with your hardware, these things, which are called drop-in nuts. And the point of these is they can be put into the track at any point you want and slid around to match up to whatever you're bolting to the rail, even when that rail is capped at the ends or is blocked by hardware already installed, okay, such as these. So I don't need to put this all the way in, but I'll explain how you do it, because that's what I had to do with these. Okay, so if you notice right here on this, it's a wedge shape washer that's threaded so that the button bolt can be screwed into it, and it's got this little red piece of plastic, and that's how you get these in the rails. Now if you're just going to put it in the rail, wedge towards the back, you could put it in and you go to push it, and notice the little red piece here that's kind of blocking it. Well, what you want to do is you want to start that first, and I'm going to switch to the other wall so we're out of the sun. You can see this. Well, you can see it without the glare anyway. So let's go here. You start it with that little red piece inside the rail, not outside of it like this. You start it with it inside, then turn this nut so that that red piece on the bottom isn't sticking there in your way and preventing you from pushing this drop-in nut back. So once you do that and turn it, see how you can push the nut back, and then you use the red deal here to be able to move it wherever you want. Okay, now here I can bring this out of the end because it's not capped, but if it was, well, I dropped it down there. Sun's a little bright, so it's hard for me to see this while I'm doing it. So you can see the little red tail on there. Again, don't start that with the red tail on the outside or it will get in your way. Put it on the inside, then turn this to where it pops in, push it back like that, and then this red piece here allows you to move it and position it. Okay, and then you can slide that to where you need it, put a bracket or whatever in front of it, put the button bolt in there, you know, just like any of these, and screw it into there. That's how you install these. Okay, so for the corner braces, let me set that down. You will put a drop-in nut here, a drop-in nut here. Now be careful, you'll notice there's marks on these also, okay? But when these walls come together at the corner, you've got a double rail here. The end walls are a little bit higher than the side walls. So even though you're gonna put the bracket, I'm sorry, this sun's getting in my way again. Even though you're gonna put this bracket in what is the top slot here, it's not the top slot here. It lines up with the bottom slot here. Okay, so be careful to pay attention to that. The bottom slot lines up with the top slot on the side wall. The bottom slot of the front and rear wall lines up with the top of the side wall. So make sure you follow these marks that are on the wall where Vito has placed them. That way this thing isn't crooked because you're not matching up the slot. Okay, and then it's real simple. You just simply put in the pop-in nut, slide it to the place on both sides, take your rail piece, and I'll show you one of the ones that isn't installed yet. And as you can see, it's drilled here. So that's the hole you need to put the button screw through. Okay, not anywhere else. There's a bunch of little holes around here. But as you turn it, you'll see that's it right there. Put your button screw in each end. And then I'll do this over here. You'll come over here. You'll line that up with the marks. See the marks there and there. And you'll have already put your drop-in nut behind there. Then you will slide it to line up with that hole. And put your button screw in there and screw it tight on either side. And that will give you the rigidity that you need for your motor walls. Next video is about actually installing motors. You can watch that video next, and then we'll just keep going from there.